We are thrilled to announce the exciting partnership between Sunset Speedway and Stickers and Scuffs. As our local hometown track, Sunset Speedway holds a special place in our hearts, offering thrilling weekly racing events that cater to a wide range of enthusiasts. From bone stocks to mini stocks, modifieds to hot rods, pro lates to the junior late models, our track is home to a diverse and talented group of racers who continue to captivate us at every turn. Located in Innisfil, Ontario, Sunset Speedway boasts an incredible atmosphere that truly embodies the spirit of racing. Looking ahead, 2024 promises to be a remarkable year with a major lineup of events that will surely leave spectators on the edge of their seat. Don't miss out on the Hanley Classic, the Power Wheel Drags, Oscar Hot Rods versus Sunset Hot Rods, Velocity, the Tamio Memorial, the Bill Zarda Memorial, and countless other thrilling races. For their complete schedule and ticket information, be sure to visit sunsetspeedway.ca today. Get ready for a season packed with speed, adrenaline, and unforgettable moments.
Welcome to GeForce TV, a professional network that brings you exhilarating on-track action like no other. Their dedication lies in providing you with amazing racing coverage from prestigious venues such as Ohsweken Speedway and the APC Series through Racing America. But that's not all. They also offer a wide range of captivating racing podcasts that will keep you up to date with all the latest news and insights. Race Rivals, hosted by Adam Ross and Clinton Jeffrey, brings you engaging discussions that delve into the thrilling world of racing. For a weekly dose of racing insights and behind-the-scenes stories, On Track Weekly with Cam K is the show for you. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. They have so much more in store for you. In 2024, GeForce is set to be your ultimate destination for on-track action. You can find them on YouTube or visit their website at GForceTV.net. Join GeForce TV and embark on an exciting journey into the world of racing.
What's going on, Stickers and Scuffs, friends and family? It's not very often that we get to talk about really cool stories that we saw from the very beginning to its current standing. And we'll start by saying Jason Metcalfe is our guest this week, the current points leader in the Outlaw Midgets series.
How about that, man?
How does that sound, buddy?
I still can't believe it. I really can't believe that I look at my name on the top of the points there, and I was like, is this really happening? Like, all the hard work is paying off. It's unbelievable. I can't, like, just thinking about it gives me goosebumps. It's unbelievable.
It was, I want to say 20, may have been 21, 22, where we first met. And, and I remember you talking about, man, I want to race. I want to race. He was crewing for Mark Dilley, and which was awesome. It was awesome to meet you and got to talk with you a little bit. And, then Graydon got the opportunity. You got the opportunity in 22, right, Graydon? I honestly can't remember.
Yes, it was 22, yeah.
Now, you're crewing, Jason. How do you end up with an Outlaw Midget? Where does the crewing lead to this opportunity?
Like I said, I've always wanted to be into racing, and I've grown up around racing. My whole family has. My grandfather was he was a starter at Sutton Speedway. He was head pit steward at Flamborough. So we know all these tracks. We've been to all these tracks, and we typically I take my son to go watch races. So we went to Peterborough one day, and the Outlaw Midgets was there. And I walked up to Dan Curving, the 88 car. For Graydon knows that car very well. I walked up to that car, and I was talking to Dan, and I got in the car, sat in the car, and started talking numbers with Dan and everything. And I was like, wow, this could be doable. I said, but I just got to get sponsors. You know what I mean? So I ended up setting up a test session with Tom, the president of the club, the current president, actually, in the 18 car. So we met the following Thursday at Peterborough. I did some test run, and obviously I was hooked. I was like, yeah, I got to do this. I was hooked. And I didn't know if I could do it. I didn't know if I'd be able to pull off getting all the sponsors and stuff, but it wasn't easy, but I was very lucky with the sponsors that I found, and they've helped out. Like, without my sponsors, I wouldn't be able to do it. So I originally planned on buying Tom's car. I had a sponsorship all set up, ready to go, and that was pulled away from me last minute. It was kind of heartbreaking. I was like, okay, well, it's just not for me. I tried a couple more people, and I got more sponsors, and more things fell into place. And someone you guys know very well, Jessica James, messaged me. She says, I like you. I like your family. She said, how would you like to buy one of my cars? And you know, Jessica James, she's an all-star at Outlaw Midgets. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah,
I was like, wow. Like she knows her stuff. And I was like, are you serious? Like, you want me to buy, like, just sell me one of your cars? And she was like, yeah. I said, I want to see it. I want to see it to go somebody who knows what they're doing and who's going to have fun doing it. And I said, okay, let me see what I can do sponsor wise. So I ended up getting all the money together. I ended up buying the car off Jessica. And I still remember the day that I got it delivered to my house, man. I was sitting here in this chair, and she pulled up on the trailer, opened the back door, and the car was sitting there. I'm like, is this really happening? And then me and my dad, being softies that we are, we started crying and everything. It's like, this is actually happening. Like, we have a race car. Like I'm gonna be a race car driver. You know what I mean? Like it was unreal. It was unreal. And then went from there, and I ran well, before that I ran 6 races with Tom's car just to get into the feel of things. And they started me at the back every for the first 3 races, and I was doing pretty good. My first heat race ever at Salva Beach, I finished second, which was unbelievable. And people started noticing how I was doing and stuff, and how good I was. And I got my own car, and getting my own car was quite different than getting into a car that's already established, because regular race cars have V8 motors or regular motors. This has a snowmobile motor, as Graydon knows, and I didn't know anything about snowmobile motors and how to set them up.
Yeah.
So a lot of research, a lot of questions, a lot of people helping me. Jessica, Dan, everybody in the group or in the club were very helpful. They wouldn't tell me everything, obviously, because there's some tricks you got to learn on your own. So a lot of research, a lot of trial and error, and a lot of time in the shop. And we finally got this car dialed in to where I think I can be very, very competitive, and it's such an awesome feeling. It's an awesome feeling. I can't say anything else. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's like, it's so hard to really put it into words, right? When it's not only your wildest dream being realized, but also, like, you're not just being a race car driver, but now you're a fast one. This is what I'm starting to feel like, where it's just like, okay, I'm not just like here and like looking around like I'm a tourist. Like, that's what I'm kind of likening to. You're starting to blend in like a local now, and you're starting to get, like, yeah, as you said, develop your own ways of doing things, your own system on any given. And that's just kind of your growing pains as a team, right?
Yeah. Last year was more of a learning year, and last year was a pretty rough year. We had a couple of crashes. Had a big crash in Peterborough,
right?
That
it damaged
really
the car
woke me
a
up.
fair bit, eh?
Oh, it was pretty bad. Yeah, the whole front end was destroyed. But with that, I made that into a learning experience. I learned a whole lot about the car. I learned a whole bunch about the components of the car. And
yeah, you're going in deep, right, to fix it. So I mean,
going in deep. I'm learning everything, and I learned a lot about the car. I learned a lot about myself, and just learned what not to do, where to go, where to be when the driving line and stuff like that. So I took it as a learning experience. But yeah, last year was quite a rough year. I got 1 podium last year, and that was it. And at Peterborough, I believe it was. And then I was riding their mid-pack, backpack type thing. And I was learning. I was like, yeah, but I know I can get better. I know I can do better.
Yep.
And then we did some changes over the summer this year, and we went out to the first race was Sunset, and I won my first heat race ever there this year. And then we went to Peterborough, and that's a night I'll never forget. We won our first 2 heat races there, and then went for the feature, and it was I couldn't believe what was happening. Like, I was passing these guys, and I was passing Nick Speed's the 77 car. He's always quick.
Yeah.
And I was chasing him, and I'm like, I'm not going to catch him. And then slowly I'm getting closer and closer. I'm thinking, this can happen. And I got to his back bumper. I'm thinking, holy, I can do this. I knew I could do it. I knew I had the car to do it. So I waited back a little bit, saw what he was doing. I waited for a mistake, and I made the move. And I'm like, this is going to happen. And when I crossed that finish line, the scream that came out of my mouth and out of my helmet was like, I couldn't believe it. I was crying in my helmet. I was ecstatic. It was unbelievable. And the only thing that really was really bad about the night was my dad couldn't be there. My dad's like the integral part of my team. He's working on this car every single day. He's out here in this car, working on his car, getting the car ready for me, putting setup on it, doing nut and bolt checks. And without my dad, I couldn't do it. So with him not being able to be there, took a little bit away from it.
Mm-hmm.
But I called him right away. I told him all about it. And he was crying, of course, on the phone, proud dad that he is. And then we went to Sauble for the Sauble weekend. And the first day, Saturday, wasn't the greatest. I missed the setup a little bit. And then came back the next day and again, won both my heat races and won the feature. And I got to win that surfboard right there, which is all I've always wanted to win, a surfboard at Sauble.
Yeah, I got a hankering for one of those too.
Oh yeah, man. When I saw that, I was like, yeah, that's one of the holy grails of this club, is riding that surfboard back there.
That's
so yeah, it's been an awesome season so far. We've got a long way to go still, but I know we have the car and the team to compete for the championship. So we'll see what we do. We'll take one race at a time, and we'll see what we can do every race, and just keep building and building and building, and we'll see what we can do at the end of the year.
That's the thing. Now you know you can do it. Like it's proven. It's just a matter of putting it together every single time you head out to the track.
Yeah, getting the setup right, getting the gearing right, getting the clutching right, and now I know I've got a fast car. So now I'm like, okay, I want to go to the back of the track. I want to get back in the car again. So the off weeks are brutal because I just want to get back in the car, but the off weeks are good too because we do a lot of work on the car, a lot of nut and bolt checking, a lot of like regular maintenance, so it helps. But yeah, it's been an awesome year so far.
There's some things that, you know, I was really curious about. Was that you and you touched on it? Was that wreck? That was not a small one. That was it was a pretty brutal, pretty blunt hit off of turn 4 at Peterborough.
It was coming off turn 4 full bore, and then when it happened, everything just slowed down. It was weird. Everything went slow motion, and I remember holding the wheel. I remember seeing the wall coming to me. I'm thinking, yeah, this is going to be a big one. And I hit, and then the car flipped over, and I was lying there, and I heard the guy talking to me saying, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I'm thinking to myself, I think I'm okay. And I could feel everything. I'm not like hurting or anything. I'm like, I think I'm okay. And that's when I said to the guy, yeah, I'm okay. And I got out of the car, but most of my family was there. My son was there, and he was not happy. He was pretty upset. And yeah, that was a big hit. I don't want to ever do that again. Yeah. But I know my car is safe enough that if it does happen again, I'll be safe, and I've got all the proper gear on. But yeah, that was a big hit.
So the next time that you get into the car, is that in the mind, or is it like, are you able to just get rid of that thought?
When I first got back in the car, I was, it was in my mind. It was in my mind, but when you're driving these cars, you can't really have that in your mind when you're driving. You've got to be focused, laser focused, because these cars are quick and they're open wheels. The only time it really got to me is the next time I went back to Peterborough. I actually walked around the track and I stopped at the part where we hit the wall, and I just like almost got closure. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, this is where it happened, but I moved on from that and I've learned from it. So I've got closure, but it is always in the back of my mind. I'll never, ever forget it.
Because it was the first like massive wreck that you've had. And we obviously want to know, like, as racers, they're able to do that. But you had mentioned that your family was there. What was the difference when you came back and you won there? You came back from that and you won at the same place where that happened. Like, it's like I'm a little bit farther out of the realm, but like take Ernie Irvan, for example. Ernie, famously at Michigan, very serious head incident, and then came back and won at the place where such a negative thing happened. Is it like the weight off the shoulders, or is it just kind of like, you know, I did it, or it's not going to get me again, or any of that type of like feeling?
Yeah, it was like the redemption almost, because I knew what I did wrong in that wreck, and I know what transpired. So I learned from it. But yeah, it was winning at that track was like, this track's not going to beat me. Like I know, like I can overcome that, and I can win at that track. And it was an awesome feeling to be able to win at a track where I had the huge wreck and kind of put it behind me, not forget about it, but put it behind me, and just use that as a reminder that anything can happen anytime. So you always got to be aware and always have your safety gear on. And yeah, but after winning that race, it was like a big redemption, like you said, like weight off my shoulders. And to have my family there when it happened was pretty spectacular. Because we go to these races, we bring, I think on an average, we bring about 20 people to the track every time we go. Yeah. So I've got all my family there, our friends and family sponsors come out. So we have a huge pit area. We got like 20 people in the pits, and they're all there supporting me, and having all them there when I win and coming down the pit road. And it was funny. One guy that was there, Tyler McMurder, I'm sure you know who Tyler McMurder is. I met him online, racing online, which I'll get back to in a minute. But he came running down from the pits, and I'm watching him. He's coming running down. He's so happy. He gave me a big high five and shook my hand and everything. And it was like, this is awesome, man. Like racers stick together and they all support each other. And it's amazing how much support you get when stuff like that happens.
And it's true. I mean, the racing community doesn't forget. They know who people are right from the start. We had a situation like that with Graydon after the guy who won the mini stock race came and gave him a big hug for just finishing the race, you know, and being, you know, and that's, I don't know if it's like that. You're not going to get an opponent do that in hockey. They're never going to come and say, "Oh, you played a great game today."
Yeah,
no,
not
that's
a chance.
never going to happen. How have you felt about the club? Because it's something that you kind of stepped into. It wasn't like you'd been there for years. You haven't been there for years. It's only been what I think this is total like year 3.
This will be my first full-time year. Last year was my first year, but with the accident and everything, didn't run a full season. But this will be my first full year, but my 3rd year in the club. Mm-hmm. And those guys have been racing together forever. So I'm coming in as a newbie, not knowing anybody except Jessica and Dan. And the response I got and the welcome I got was unbelievable. Everybody's willing to help, because these cars, you can't have, every car's setup is differently. So you can't copy somebody else's setup, put it in the car. So you can ask certain questions, they'll tell you, but they're not going to tell you exactly what to do until you figure it yourself. Mm-hmm. So I've asked little questions here and there. They'll give me little tidbits, and then they'll say, okay, go in this direction, go in that direction, and figure it out. But anytime I've asked questions, like I've asked Jessica James tons of questions. I've asked Mike Westwood, the guy who built this car. Yeah, he's been really helpful. A bunch of guys in the club like Dave Bradley, Mike Bradley, all these guys have been super helpful. But they're not going to tell me everything because they want to compete with me as I do with them, right? But yeah, the club has been outstanding, absolutely outstanding, very, very supportive, helping me whenever they need, and I can't actually ask for any better.
Nice. So, looking forward, what's next for the Outlaw Midgets club, and how you feeling about things going forward here?
Well, our next 2 races, we're at Sunset coming up this weekend coming up, and I'm pretty confident. I love that track. I'm really good at that track. I like that track. I'm comfortable there. And then we have Peterborough again. So I'm really looking forward to those 2 tracks. I'm looking forward to going back to Sauble again. I'm looking forward to going to Varney. I've got a little bit of redemption there because I kind of stepped on my foot about Varney and ran over the rumble strips down at the bottom. And I'm sure you know what they are, grading on the bottom. And I tore my belt.
Yeah, I bet those feel good in that thing.
Buddy, these cars are like this far off the ground. So you can hit those things, you feel everything.
Yeah, that would severely upset the car, I would think.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it upset the car, and I gave it gas when I shouldn't have, and I ripped the belt off. So that was the end of my race there. But I'm looking forward to getting to Sauble and getting back to the tracks where I know I'm comfortable at. But I'm looking forward to a good year. It's going to be a good year.
What do you do for a lap time at Varney in one of those things?
I believe it's in the 14s.
Yeah, I bet it would be.
But I believe it's the 14s, because I know when I was at Sauble, I was running. Oh yeah, like that track is more turn than anything. Yeah, and the turn and the banking is unreal. It reminds me like a mini Bristol almost, and the banking is unreal. So I don't have a whole lot of experience here right now because of the it's in the head last time, but I'm looking forward to going back there and seeing what I can do there. But Varney is a track that I'm really looking forward to going back to.
Yeah, it's a super fun place for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The racing as a whole for the club. Yeah, you guys are typically doing what is it, 25 lap features, 30?
25 lap features, yeah. 25
lap feature with one set of heats.
two set of heats.
Two sets.
Usually two sets of heats, but on the busy weekends, sometimes it gets cut down to one.
Oh, okay.
But most times it's two heats.
So again, that experience when you're coming in from fresh, like getting into racing, which is what basically you did. You kind of, this was your first introductory step. What was the conditioning like to start off with these? How much work are you putting in turning the car? How much is it to wheel them? Did you find it a pretty tough start?
The wheel, you're not turning the wheel much. Like I'm only turning maybe I've got my YouTube channel. If you look on there, I'm only turning the wheel a little bit here and there, but it turns the car a lot. And these cars are different than a regular race car. These left tires wear out quicker than the right tires, which is really weird. The left rear takes up all the weight because that's where when you're turning, that's where all the weight come and get transferred to, right? So the right side tires last maybe 4 or 5 races if I'm lucky, and the left side lasts maybe 3 races. So it's really weird. That's something I had to learn. I'm like, well, don't the right tires wear out quicker? And they said, no, left tires wear out quicker. I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking that can't be, because all my knowledge I know about racing, it's always the right side tires have all the pressure on them.
Yeah.
But now driving this car, I realized that the left tires wear out a lot quicker than the right tires, which is really weird. But as for conditioning, it took a little while to get the hang of it, because I hold the wheel way too tight. That's the way I am. So my hands were cramping up, my arms were cramping up. I was like, holy crap, this is a little harder than I thought. I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you just got the death grip on the.
Yeah, I got the death grip on there. I was thinking, why am I holding so tight? But then I can't. It's just the way it goes. I'm not thinking about that. I'm just concentrating what I'm doing. But
yeah,
they're not really hard to drive, but they can be. They can bite you real quick. Like these cars don't have no suspension, like you guys know. So if you hit a bump the wrong way and you're getting on the gas and you're not ready for it, it can spin you around like real quick. You got to be ready for that. But other than that, if they're a ride to drive, the guys are fun to race with. Like I can race side by side with some of those guys and not worry about it. And it's so much fun. They have so much respect for everybody. Yeah, but these cars, they're a blast to drive. They're a blast to drive.
Okay, now I got to hear it then. So, all right, Jason Metcalfe, what is your ranking then on the bumpiest, or the ones, the tracks that are the hardest on your ass? Okay, because there's going to be some really big differences between these tracks. So let's go. Let's go with the bumpiest for your ass feel. We'll start with the worst.
Flamborough Speedway, 100% Flamborough.
Really?
Without a doubt, is the bumpiest tracks that I've been on. When I went there the first time, the guy said you need to wear a mouth guard. I'm thinking, what?
What?
So I got a mouth guard, and I didn't need it, but I didn't realize how bumpy it is till I watched my video, in-car video. My head is shaking around like crazy, but I'm sitting still. But Flamborough's got to be the worst track. It's fun to drive, but bumpy track. I would think Peterborough turn 1 and 2 is next, because that's all bumpy, and there's one spot you can hit, but you've got to be dead on to hit that spot perfect, and we can wrap around that corner. But turn 1 and 2 in Peterborough are pretty bad. Like Dave Bradley said before on your podcast, coming out of turn 2, it's like moguls. If you hit that, and you can hear the car just going wow, 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 as you're going down the backstretch. But other than that, Sauble's a great track to drive. It's pretty smooth.
Yeah.
Varney, I can't remember much about Varney because it's been a while. Yeah, but Sauble's pretty good. The worst track is Flamborough. And yeah, so Flamborough, Peterborough, and then
where's Sunset?
Probably Sunset.
Yeah?
Yeah. Probably Sunset, probably third.
Now, you guys don't go to Grand Bend, right?
We haven't. No, we didn't go last year. We got rained out, and I don't think many of the guys want to go there.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's why it's not in the schedule this year or not. But I haven't been to Grand Bend. That's one track I haven't raced on. So I'm looking for. I was looking forward to going there this year, but we're not going there this year, unfortunately. But it is what it is.
I love that. I love getting that inside knowledge, man. Because you guys, like awesome. I said, it's not a full size car. Like you guys are so much lower to the ground. You're feeling it. You're feeling everything. You know it, and that's the mini truck racers. We had Del Freiberger on last week, and he said the same thing, that Flambro is the bumpiest, which is so funny because I would not think that it would be, but
Oh yeah,
it
it
is.
Yeah.
It's funny. Last time I was at the last time I was at Peterborough, I took a friend of mine's bone stock out just to try it. And what a difference. Like the car was rolling and flopping and doing all this kind of stuff. I'm like, I'm not used to having a suspension. Like I don't know how to drive with a suspension. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm used to the rigidness of my car and everything. And I got in the bone stock. I was like, this is pretty cool. But I'm loving driving this thing, man. This thing's a riot. It is wallet friendly kind of. It's like an entry level. You can it, and with the car I have, I can pull it with my car if I wanted to. I've got a little utility trailer I use. It works perfect. Everybody's like, "Are you going to get a bigger car?" I said, "No, this is what I need. Like I've got it in my mom and dad's garage here at the race shop.
Yeah.
It fits perfect in here. The trailer fits in there when I need it. Everything's working out perfect. I'll stay with this car for as long as I can, and then when my son turns 16, he'll get in it and see what he can do."
Nice. Yeah, I was going to ask if there's probably a plan of succession here. Get the family maybe getting behind the wheel a bit too, eh?
I took the car to my work last year and this year, and took my son and my nephew there, and they drove around a bit in the backyard of my work. And
I saw your video of your boy in there, and he looked like he had a pretty big smile on his face.
He is so much like me; it's unreal great, and he wants to I know he's going to be a great driver because me and him are on iRacing all the time. That's how I got interested in racing as much as I have. I've been doing iRacing since 2011.
Right. Yep.
And without that, like I got in the car for the first time, I was comfortable. I knew what to do without actually thinking about doing it.
Yeah, so the fundamentals were there, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm watching my son drive and stuff like that. I watched him get in the car in my work. I was like, I can't wait till he turns 16. So I want to see what he wants to do. But then when he gets car, he's not going to want to get out, and I'm not going to be able to get back in the car. You know what I mean? So I got to have a happy balance. You know what I mean?
You're going to get a second one. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, well, that's just relax. Let's slow down a bit.
I'm just saying we've got the 29 KHI or the RCR font. You got to get the 92 to go with it. There we go. Perfect.
It's a thought. It's a thought.
Perfect.
It's a thought. We'll see what happens.
Cam's spending your money for you here.
I've got it all planned out for him. It's great because you get out there. I know you're big, like you said, you had mentioned Tyler earlier in the show. You were big with the NASCAR racing, got into that division really well in that. And now you've got that using real world skills now. But the big question that we ask a lot of people that with iRacing is, does it replace the seat of the pants feel? And the majority have said no. But what I will say is that there is some aspects of it that it helps polish, I guess we'll say,
100%
those skills. Yeah.
When I'm in my sim maybe 5 times a week. Maybe I'm down driving that thing, and it can't replicate the seat of pants, but the way your eyes work and the way your hands work in the sim, you can tell, and especially with the force feedback, and you tell when the car is getting loose, so you know when to correct.
Right.
And that correlates with this car because when I'm getting loose in this car, it reminds me of racing online because it just instinctively I just correct it and it comes back. So I've learned all that from iRacing, and being in group like pack racing on iRacing, it's really helped me out because I know where to look for racing. I'm always looking further ahead and they're looking beside me and stuff like that. So all that stuff there is real to get on the sim. The only thing it can't replicate is the seat of the pants feel as I get in this car. It's amazing how you feel this car in your ass when you're driving. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to explain it. It's a weird feeling. You can tell when the car is twitching, you can tell when the car is getting loose or tight or whatever. But that's really the only thing that iRacing can't replicate is the seat of the pants feel. But they're pretty much bang on with everything else, in my opinion, anyway.
I was just like the Outlaw Midget. I mean, having no suspension. I mean, your ass is in the seat is to the chassis to the axle, and like that's as direct to the wheel kind of feel as you can really get in a race vehicle, right? Like there's no dampening of the suspension or anything like that. So it's truly a race vehicle like no other.
Oh yeah, like when you strap in that car, you become part of the car. You're part of the car. You feel every bump in that track that car feels goes right back to you.
Yep.
So yeah, it's pretty neat. I can't complain at all.
Yeah, really cool, man.
One of the things that was really cool was seeing, you worked, and this is the one thing that I want people and racers to know and to really pay attention to. why Jason Metcalfe is not just a success story for getting an opportunity to get a car into race is because he started with no sponsorship. You worked your ass off. And that's what I remember when you were first getting out there. You remember you reaching out and asking kind of for suggestions and for assistance. Clearly, you didn't need it because you found them and you got them. And we're going to give you that opportunity. I told you ahead of time to get those partners because it's so important. As you said at the beginning of this show, and not enough partners get this recognition from their racers. They get a shout out, but what you said right at the top is that I could not do this without them. So let's hear the partners for Metcalfe Racing. We see Flynn and GSR right behind you, but let's hear a little bit about them.
Flynn has been my number one sponsor since the beginning. They've been, when I had that crash last year, they were there for me again, helping me out, getting the car fixed and everything. And then GSR came aboard, and he's nothing but a class act. Glenn Stiers is Canadian racing, in my opinion. He knows what he's doing. He supports people. He knows when he picks. It's funny. I sent him a message the other day where the first time I won, he goes, I was talking to Chantel, and I said, every time I pick a driver to sponsor, they always become winners. So maybe that kind of made me feel pretty cool. So Flynn was my number one sponsor for a long time. GSR came on the next year, and then Procon Building Supplies is my work. They were generous enough to sponsor me. And then just this past weekend, I signed another sponsor, Two Speed Motorsports from Corey McAllister, which is a big name in OSS and in racing in general. He's a winner in himself. I've also got Helix Pools on there. I've also got you guys on here, Stickers and Stuff, as you see. Canadian Tire Innisfil, who sponsors our club. I couldn't do it with any of these guys, but Flynn has been my number one sponsor from the beginning, and I can't thank them enough. When we go to Sabo, they give us a trailer to put the car in the trailer. They give us a truck to use to tow the trailer. I can't say enough about Flynn. And GSR, when I won my first race, he bought me a new pair of shoes. He's to get me a fire suit, so I get to wear his name on my chest, which is awesome. I've already got it on my chest here, as you see, but to have a fire suit with his name on it is what I'm really looking forward to. But I couldn't do without my sponsors. And of course, my dad, like I said, my dad's in here every day working on this car. No joke, he's in here every day working on this car. He's calling me at work, hey, should we do this? Should we do that? Should we do that? I said, Dad, you just do whatever you want to do. You let me know, I'll get in and drive it. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And then Al does shirts. He's the one who makes our shirts for our crew. A friend of mine, Travis Smith, who lives in Florida, called Grout Busters. He helped out a little bit as well. So I'm always, like last week, I sent out maybe 15 more emails to companies just looking for more sponsors. You never know what's going to happen, right? You never know what you're going to need for next year or whatnot. But yeah, spotting the sponsors was the hard part. Like, it's always searching. You're always sending emails. You're always asking questions, always trying to get your name out there. So with me winning as I am and hopefully having a successful season, I'll be able to get more attention and maybe grab some more bigger sponsors. But Flynn is by far the number one sponsor I've had since the beginning.
I want to reference one more before we go. Social media. You have a YouTube channel, and that's where I got to hear and maybe got a little bit weepy-eyed seeing you win, because it's different when we talk about it all the time. I talk about it on every show. When you get to know the people and you know the racers and you know how much that they put into it and the effort, to hear that all the accumulation of those years and any sort of stresses and any sort of excitement all come out at that one time. It came out in that yell because you were screaming, but it makes it all worthwhile. So let's shout out your social media and your YouTube channel.
Yeah, YouTube channel is Metcalfe Racing. And I have a TikTok as well, Metcalfe Racing, but most of my races are on YouTube. I have 3 GoPros I put in my camera on my car, and I usually download the footage afterwards. My son usually puts the races live on Facebook. And if you watch this video from when I won at Peterborough, he was screaming like I've never heard anybody scream before. It was like the passion in his voice was amazing. And coming up to him in the car when I got in victory lane and hear him scream and stuff like that, all makes it worth it. So yeah, those were my two main ones. I have Instagram as well, but I'm not on there as much as I am TikTok and YouTube. But yeah, TikTok and YouTube is where I put on most of my stuff on there if you want to come by and watch it.
It's going to be an amazing season. We can't wait to see how it continues. This has been our friend, SNS racer, Jason Metcalfe. Best of luck for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys. Great talking to you guys. Thank you.